So we are going to discuss about few more terms in probability. So first is a sample space. So what is meant by a sample space? It is a set of all possible outcomes in an experiment. So what does it mean? All possible outcomes. Okay. So for example, I am considering throwing a coin and die. Throwing a coin and die simultaneously. Simultaneously in the sense, in case of probability, simultaneously means one after the other. Okay. So first I am throwing coin and then I am throwing die. So now in case of coin, what are all possibilities in case of coin? All possibilities are either it should be head or it should be tail. So totally two possibilities are there. And what are all possibilities if I throw a die? So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 or 6, right? So totally 6 possibilities. Now and, if it is and, I already discussed about principle of counting, right? So coin and die, which means 2 and 6, so total possibilities are 12. So totally 12 possibilities are there. So this 12 is nothing but all possibilities. If I throw a coin and a die, what are the possibilities? It could be like, it could be head, here I could get 1. It could be head, here I could get 2. It could be head, here I could get 3. Head 4, head 5, head 6. Next head, next tail, tail 1, tail 2, tail 3, tail 4, tail 5, tail 6. Right. So there, those are the 12 possibilities. Right. So coin I will get head or a tail. Here I will get out of the 6 numbers any one number. So there are totally 12 possibilities. This is nothing but our sample set. So how can I write here? Sample set, like sample space, if I want to represent it in a set, it will be head comma 1, comma head comma 2, comma head comma 3, 4, head comma 5, head comma 6. These are first 6 possibilities, where in coin I am getting head, in the die I am getting 6 numbers. Second possibility is in coin I am getting tail, and in numbers, like I am just in dice I am getting the remaining numbers. So tail 3, tail 4, tail 5 and then tail 6. So totally the number of sample space is 6. So number of sample space is 12. When I am defining the probability, I given n of e by n of s. Now I guess you would have understood what is n of s is. N of s is nothing but the number of total possibilities. This is nothing but number of sample space itself. Okay, we will see the next thing. Next we will discuss about what is meant by an event. Okay, so event is nothing but a subset of its sample space itself. If you are not understanding, let me give one example and I will explain detailedly. There are different types of events, everything I will explain. See, first let me consider an experiment, a random experiment, throwing a die. Okay, if I throw a die, what are the total possibilities? Either I could get 1 or I could get 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. So total possibilities are these things. So n of s is 6. Okay. So these are the total possibilities. Now I am defining a new term, or I am defining a new set, whereas A is an event of getting only even number. So A is an event of getting only even number. So it means, what are the possibilities here? Totally 6 numbers are there, where I need to get only even numbers, means the possibilities are 2, 4 and 6, right? Now you could have imagined this A is a subset of S, right? Subset is nothing but it belongs to S, where X is the universal thing and 2, 4, 6 belongs to S. So A is a subset of S, right? Let me extend this. Let me take B. B is an event of getting only odd number. Okay, what are the possibilities here? So the possibilities are 1, 3 and 5, right? Next, C. C is an event of getting a prime number, okay, let it be a prime number, any prime number, any prime number. So prime numbers are the numbers which are divisible by himself or it is divisible by 1. So either it is divisible by itself or it is divisible by 1. So what are the prime numbers here? 1 is a prime number, 2 is a prime number, 3 and 5. So these are our prime numbers, 1, 2, 3 and 5, right? So these are our prime numbers, right? Next, D. Event of getting a number less than or equal to 2. Event of getting a number less than or equal to 2. So what are the possibilities here? So either it could be 1 or it should be 2. So now I guess you would have understood. So all this A, B, C, D, all this are subset of S only, right? Fine. Next, I am going to define a new term, E. Event of getting alphabet, event of getting alphabet, H, event of getting alphabet, H. So was there any alphabet in this? There is no possibility of getting H here, right? So this is a null set. Null set in the sense it doesn't, there is no possibility of getting H out of this 6 is not there. So it is a null set. Okay. Next I will define one more term. Let EF be event of getting a number greater than 6. Event of getting a number greater than 6. Again, it is a null set, right? So all these 6 are events, but these 4 A, B, C, D are possible events. Okay, because it is possible. Getting only even number is possible, getting only odd number, only prime number or a number which is less than or equal to 2 is possible. But getting an alphabet H and getting a number which is greater than 6, it is not possible in this because total possibilities are only from 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 and 6, right? So these two are impossible events. So first we understood what is meant by a sample space. Sample space is nothing but all possibilities which is there, which is available. Next we understood what is meant by an event. Event is just a subset of a particular sample space. In that event we understood what is meant by possible event and what is meant by impossible event. Possible event means those events are also a subset of a sample space but which are possible, which are physically possible. The events are possible to occur. But impossible events are also a subset of S. We know that null set is a subset of all other sets. Okay, from your knowledge of set theory, you need to understand that null set is a subset of all other sets. So E and F are impossible events. They are subset but still they are not possible physically. Okay. Now we will extend our case. Next we will discuss about mutually exclusive event. Next we will discuss about mutually exclusive event. So what does it mean by mutually exclusive event? So mutually exclusive event means it is something like there is no possibility for getting same terms in two events. You could frame it like something like this. There won't be any no common outcomes when I can call two events to be mutually exclusive. Okay, when I can call two events to be mutually exclusive when there is no common outcome between those two events. What does it mean? Let me give an example and then I will state you. For example, A and B. Let us consider A is an event of getting an even number, B is an event of getting an odd number. Between these two events, if you consider, in A event I am getting 2, 4, 6 and in B event I am getting 1, 3 and 5, right? So there is no common possible outcomes. 2 is not there commonly, 4 is not there, 6 is not there, 1, 3, 5, nothing is there. So these two are mutually exclusive. So these two events are mutually exclusive. Okay, where A and B are mutually exclusive. In other sense, I could say something like this. For example, I can give you in a more precise manner this definition, how it is. See, I am throwing a die. Okay, I am throwing a die. I can call it to be mutually exclusive event if occurrence of one event, if one event occurred, it is saying that there is no possibility for occurrence of another event. If one event has occurred, there is no possibility for occurrence of another event. Let me state you. See, first let me compare this B and C. B and C, see, there are some commons, right? 1, 1, 3, 3, 5, 5. So these two are not mutually exclusive, right? So here B and C are not mutually exclusive from our first definition itself. But now second definition I am saying, if one event occurrence of one event, if one event is occurred, then no possibility for other event to occur. So what does it mean? Let me state it. So if suppose I am considering, I already know A and B is nothing but mutually exclusive event. Now I am throwing a die. Okay, I am throwing a die. I am getting 2. Okay, I am getting 2. I am getting 4, or I am getting 4, or I am getting 6. Now there is no possibility for like these 2, 4, 6 are not there in event B, right? Which indirectly means that this B event cannot be satisfied. Only A event can happen. That is, I can get only even number. But at the same time, see here, B and C. Now A event is occurring, that is getting of odd number. For example, I am getting 1. Okay. So B event is happened. That is, I got an odd number. At the same time, C event is also happened, right? Because C event of getting any prime number, 1 is also a prime number. So in that case, if I am getting 1, in that case, both B and C are, both B, C, both of them has been occurred. So both B event and C event, both has been occurred. But this type of situation can never happen in A and B, because A and B are mutually exclusive. If one happened, in another event there is no possibility of occurrence. I hope it is clear, right? So not mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means there won't be any common possible outcomes. If there is no common possible outcomes, if one event is going to occur, then there is no possibility for other event to occur. You can guess it, you can say it from here. But if it is non mutually exclusive, if one event occurred, there is possibility for other event also to occur. For example, if I am throwing a die and I am getting 1, 1 is also present in B, that is an event B. 1 is also present in event C, right? So both events occurrence are possible if it is not mutually exclusive. If it is a mutually exclusive, both events simultaneously, like both events combinedly, there is no possibility. Okay. So probability, if I want to define, we already know this sign belongs to intersection, like from your set language, right? Intersection. So A intersection B, we know that what is A intersection B here? A intersection B is null set, right? So probability of A intersection B is going to be 0. So there is no possibility of occurrence of both A and E event. Okay, there is no possibility of occurrence of both A and E event combinedly. So it is very important. If it is mutually, if you understood the question and if you understood that the question belongs to mutually exclusive event, then you have to blindly substitute P of A intersection B is 0. Okay, so I hope mutually exclusive events has been cleared. So now we will go for the next type of event. We are going to discuss about equally likely event. So what is meant by equally likely events? See, equally likely events means the possibility of occurrence of one event will be same as that of possibility of occurrence of other event. In this example, we will take A and B. So A is event in which I am going to get only even number. B is the event in which I am going to get only odd number, right? So now possibility of occurrence of A or probability of occurrence of A is what? N of A by N of S, which is n of A is, there are totally 3 by sample space I already know, number of n of S is 6. N implies number, okay, so here 3, right? So this is going to be 1 by 2. And what is probability of B, that is what is the possibility of occurrence of B? B is nothing but event of getting only odd number. So probability of B is nothing but n of B by n of S, which is 3 by 6, which is equal to 1 by 2. So probability of or possibility of event A to occur is equal to possibility of event B to occur. So when I can call an event to be equally likely if the possibility of occurrence of one event is same as that of possibility of occurrence of another event. In a probability term, P of A should be equal to P of B. If both probabilities are same, I can say that they are equally likely events. So what is mean by exhaustive event? Next is exhaustive event. Exhaustive event in the sense I can call A and B to be exhaustive event if A union B is going to give me sample space itself. If this condition is satisfied, if A union B is going to give me sample space itself, then it is an exhaustive event. In our example, A 2 4 6, B is 1 3 5. Union is nothing but combining both, right? So if I combine both, I will get 1 2 3 4 5 6, which is nothing but sample space itself. Okay. Now if I want to find probability of A union B, where A and B are exhaustive events, which will be equal to n of A union B by n of S. N of A union B is what? We already know A union B is nothing but sample space. If it is exhaustive, A union B is nothing but sample space, then n of A union B will be 6 and n of S will be 6, which implies 1. So what is the condition for exhaustive event? A union B should be sample space, or else probability of A union B should be 1. So this condition is satisfied, I can say that it is an exhaustive event.